Hello, everyone. Welcome to Big Talk on Global Television. And of course, a pleasure to have you join us tonight as we take a look at some major political stories. But first, let's highlight in Rivers State, based on the current crisis, the Rivers State Governor Simi Fubara has sworn in by Emmanuel Frank Fubara, who was screened and confirmed as a commissioner by the Victor Okoye-Jumbo-led assembly earlier today. The swearing-in ceremony was held at the Executive Council chamber of the Government House in Port Harcourt at about 5 p.m. Given his charge after the oath ceremony, Fubara defended his recognition of Okoye-Jumbo-led assembly, insisting that it is the lawfully recognized legislative arm. Governor Fubara, however, expressed his disappointment with the police for not doing enough to unravel the facts about the bomb explosion in Port Harcourt some weeks ago. He claimed that the relevant authorities were silent because the suspect in the attack were not his supporters. That is it from Rivers State, and I highlight on that. But yesterday, the president was re-elected as the chairman of ECOWAS, and we took to the street to know what Nigerians really feel about this re-election. Let's get to show you the reactions of Nigerians on the re-election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the ECOWAS chairman. Take a listen.
Re-elected Tinubu as the chairman of ECOWAS. I see there's no big deal over it. But the truth of the matter is that let our president should equally, the way they appointed him the other side, he should equally look at the cry of the masses equally. Because he happens to look onto how should I call the chairman of ECOWAS and forget about his country. The country is equally bleeding. But in the sense of, it's an appreciation to each and every one of us that our president is a chairman of ECOWAS. Because a lot of African countries are looking for it. Many have not even, he has not even get to the countries, not. But the truth of the matter, I love the post. As equally as he loved that the same post, he equally loved the indigenous of this country and take them along.
As a Nigerian, I think the president of this country, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has to concentrate in his country, not to take the position of the ECOWAS chairman, because already the country is into a mess that all the Nigerians are suffering. Look at the fuel scarcity, everything now is going, the price of things is going higher and higher every day. So as a Nigerian, I think Mr. President should be focused on his country, not ECOWAS.
Well, later, the course of the program, our expert and public affairs analyst will be joining us to extract the implication and the impact of this re-election means to us as a country and the ECOWAS bloc. But moving away from that, let's take a look at the current dialogue regarding the issue of marginalization in the country. The House of Reps, the member of the House of Reps have actually made a move to present a bill which has actually scaled through the first reading on the state creation. This comes to unite the country and a move to create more states for the southeastern in particular. And of course, other states have also raised brows to also call for concern about the expansion of their own region. But to what end does the state creation mean for a country like Nigeria? Would this really dignify the unity purpose of this country? Would this also put to rest the issues of insecurity we have in some regions of this country? My guest tonight is a legal practitioner and a political commentator, Ifeanyi Okereke, who of course is live here on the program to add voice to this conversation and give us a better perspective to what this means to the people of Southeast and also as Nigeria as a whole. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the program.
Thank you.
The unity of this country is paramount. Recall that the Constitution always starts with we, the people of Nigeria. It therefore means that in every region, the 6 geopolitical zones of this country must be carried along. To you, does Nigeria's status as of today really represent unity? Because some persons are actually concerned that, some parts are being marginalized and then some part of this country are not really carried along. To your analysis, do we really have unity in this country moving forward?
We don't. We don't have unity. In fact, since the since Gowon came on board after the coup, the Igbo parts of this country, that's the southeastern part of this country, has been agitating. There is this agitation. There is this cry for fairness, for equity. Let me walk you down the memory lane. Prior to the coup in 1967, General Gowon balkanized the 4 geopolitical zones that we have, as it then was. The Eastern Zone, the Western region, the North, and the Midwestern region, and created 12 states. Going forward, in 1976, after the Biafran War, General Murtala Mohammed went ahead to create 7 additional states, making it 19 states.
All right, Barrister, sorry to cut you short. We'll have to go on a break right now. I was returned. I will actually appreciate this so much analysis shortly after this break. Do stay with us.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point, this is business.
Are you ready to be entertained like never before? Get ready to dive into the latest and greatest entertainment news in lifestyle, music, movies, birthday celebration, and so much more. All on Entertainment Circle on Global Television. From the hottest red carpet event to exclusive interviews with your favorite stars, we've got you covered. Stay up to date with the latest trends and news from the entertainment world, all in one place. Tune in every Saturday by 1 p.m. with Chong Annabelle Joseph on Global Television.
Many thanks everyone for still staying with us on Big Talk. And of course, I'm still having in the studio a member of the MBA Committee on National Assembly Affairs and the founding partner of the Spectre Artsbond LP Chamber. And of course, he's also a political commentator, of course, adding voices to discuss the politics of state creation. In particular, I mean, I love the emphasis you were trying to create when we started the program. Give us a better understanding on, to your perspective, about how the state creation's portion, I mean, the issues of proportion, what it means for Southeast to have 6 states, and now that we're agitating for more states to be added to the Southeast.
Thank you. Before now, I was trying to make a point as per the chronology of the states
give us briefly.
Creation. Now, in 1967, General Gowon the then head of state, created 12 states from the then existing 4 regions. The eastern region, the northern region, the western region, and the that's the Bender. Going forward in 1976, General Murtala Mohammed, the then head of state, created additional 7 states. Fast forward to 1983, IBB, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, created additional 11, bringing it to 30 states. Then, going forward in 1996, General Abacha created additional 6 states, making it at 6 states, including the FCT. Now, it may interest you to know that out of all these geopolitical regions, the Northwest has 7 states. The South has 6 states. The Southwest has 6. The Northeast has 6 states. While the only geopolitical region with 5 states is the Southeastern state. Tell me why we wouldn't be having the agitations we are having in the... I come from the southeastern part of the state.
But some people may argue that your agitation was about having your own country, not necessarily expansion about the state. Is it the place of priorities?
No. When there is equity, fairness, and equality, all this agitation will die down. It will die a natural death. The average Igbo man is a businessman. He doesn't care about, politics of Nigeria, who gets what and how he gets what he gets. His focus is business, entrepreneur. And we are saying that we have been marginalized. The war is over, my brother. The war is over.
We should not keep on dragging over.
57 years after the war. The only states, the only geopolitical region, that has 5 states is the Southeast. Imo, Anambra, Enugu, Abia, and of course, Ebonyi. The Northwest has 7. So what are we saying? The agitation for additional creation of a state, 1, is germane.
Now, would this really put a stop to the issue of Biafra agitation? Because I understand that the interests and priorities of the many people, many of your leaders from this history that you've counted on, was really about having their own independence.
Of course.
So would this really address this issue?
It will, to some extent. You're
speaking as a legal practitioner now.
Yes, show us that sense of belonging. For crying out loud, the war is over. This is 57 years after the war. Show us that sense of belonging.
When you talk of belonging, let's proportion it to the leadership structure in the country. Away from the presidents, you've had Senate presidents from the Southeast. We've had key positions, coming from the Southeast. Does it therefore not give grounds to that consideration?
That was then. That was... from I think 1999 to 2007, during Obasanjo's era. Remember the formation after the demise of General Abacha, the formation of PDP. I'm not a card-carrying member of PDP, but I've been following their activities. The formation of People's Democratic Party was largely influenced by the Igbos and also the Yorubas. Of course, with our brothers from the north. So Obasanjo ran an inclusive government because then we had a Senate president from the southeastern part of the country. Unlike what we have now. During the last administration of Buhari, we are literally saying, give us that sense of belonging. Appoint us in key positions. But let us not, get derailed from the subject matter, the agitation for the creation, I support that. Now, the issue of where this state will be carved out from has been a front burner issue. Honorable Ikenga Ugochinyere, my very good friend, has sponsored a bill that has passed the first reading in the House of Representatives to the effect that Olu State, Olu is a senatorial district in Imo. The bill is to the effect that Olu State should be created, should be carved out from Anambra, Enugu, and Imo.
Making it 2 states. Because they seem to push more than 1 state.
Making it an additional 1 state, making it 6 states. Now, the people from Anioma, from Delta, Anioma people, you know, we have some Igbos in Delta.
When Nedwoko, it seems
yes, he sponsored another bill saying we want a state of our own. Then we have another group of representatives, honorable members from the House of Reps, about 10 of them, who is also agitating for an Etiti state. Etiti means meadow. That is Etiti state. So we've counted 3. Olu State being pushed by Ugochinyere Ikenga, a member representing Idato North and South. Then we have Etiti being sponsored by about 5 or 7 House of Representative member across party lines. Then that of Senator Ned from Anioma. 3. Because you know, the Constitution, the Constitution amendment procedure is ongoing. So for you to create a state, you must fall back to the Constitution.
To start the amendment move.
Yes. It may interest you to know that this agitation for creation of a new state is not a walk in the park. If you look at Section 8, Section 8 creates the procedure or provided for the procedure for these states to be, and it is very Herculean. In fact, it's almost impossible. The 1999 Constitution is a constitution handed to us by the military. You can agree with me. That's why we've had series of alteration, amendment. If you look at Section 8, let's look at Section 8. For you to create a state, you must fall back to Section 8 to get the 2/3 majority of both the lower chamber and the upper chamber, and also 2/3 majority of all the constituent assembly. That's all the state house of assembly. You must get the 2/3, that's 24. So let us look at Section 8 briefly. The military made it almost impossible for another state to be created. But that won't, stop the agitation.
Yes, we are not deterred about that.
That won't stop the agitation. Look at Section 8. Section 8 of the 1999 Constitution states that an act of the National Assembly for the purpose of creating a new state shall only be passed A, if a request supported by at least 2/3 majority of members representing the area demanding the creation of the state in each of the following, namely the Senate and the House of Representatives. 2, the House of Assembly in respect of the area. 3, the local government councils in respect of the area is received by the National Assembly. A proposal for the creation of the state is thereafter approved in a referendum by 2/3. We must also have a referendum. The INEC,
there are a lot of procedures.
The INEC will call or organize a referendum. So it is not an easy thing, to create state.
Absolutely. Though the move is applauded, I understand the agitation, the interest behind all of this. But one may pause to ask on the economic reality that we are facing. should it rather be that we should be advocating for a proper restructuring of a federal system that really works and reflects the interests of what it really means for us to run as a federal system of government? Other than because the current economic reality means that you create more burden for federal government in terms of allocations and all of that to start, I mean, when we are even struggling with a lot of pressures, minimum issues of minimum wage and all of those indices. So some person may pause upon that and ask, should they rather be that we should be finding a way of trying to get our federal system right and working instead of more creation? Because in reality, we are being faced with a lot of threats now.
My brother, the federal government should unbundle the system. The system that we are operating as it were is cumbersome. Cost-wise, the fiscal policy, monetary policy, the cost of governance. Look at the budget. Look at the cost of budget. Look at the budget of the National Assembly, top more of the executive. Let them unbundle. Let us go back since, I think, the second tenure of former President Mohamed Buhari. There has been this agitation for us to restructure. Let us have, through federalism, let us restructure this country. We can even go back to, what we used to have prior to 1979 when Shehu Shagari came on board. We used to have confederal system of government where the states are more stronger than the center. That's the federal government. Unbundle the system. Look at the exclusive legislative list. The federal government is grappling with a lot of things on that list. Education, housing, power, aviation, so many things. The states, some of these states have natural resources that if you unbundle, and we must start that by amending, addressing the root cause, which is the Constitution. That Constitution is not the Constitution by the Nigerian people. It's started by we, the people of Nigeria, do hereby give ourselves this Constitution. No. It is a military constitution handed over, superimposed on us by the military regime.
There have been several attempts to, they have organized several referendums. They've had several of these things, but it seems that it has been an academic
because they don't want
National Assembly.
Because they don't want, the ruling class doesn't want it to work. If they want it to work, they can fix this once and for all. If they want it to work, it will work.
Are you bothered about the performance of Southeastern government? Because when you look at also trying to create more for yourself, you now begin to spotlight some state performance in the Southeast region. Look at Anambra, look at Abia. It's of recent that Abia seems to be breathing in terms of performance by particularly the governor. Now, because the people's resources, we are creating more state, it therefore means that it's not someone from the north that will be the governor of the particular state. It therefore means that we're trying to also spotlight individuals from that region to be governors. And then looking so far, the performance of what the five states are able to do. Are you impressed? And are you also bothered and concerned that if this is more created, it also may create another room for embezzlement and all of those public actions we've been seeing by politicians?
That is where the citizenry, the office of the citizenry, should be awake to their duties as citizens of this country. And I'm not from Anambra, but I was born and brought up in Anambra. I followed the trend. Back then, when Badnuju was the governor of Anambra, things were so bad that primary schools shut down for close to a year. Not to talk about secondary schools, university. I participated in as young as I was. We flag down a vehicle or a truck conveying goods. We flag it down, mount it straight to the government house. But after 4 years, he was removed. In fact, Peter Obi won that election that Ngige came through the back door. And at the end of the day, he was, restored by the court. So what do I mean? Now look at what is happening in Abia. Abia has been in shackles of godfatherism. It's a known fact. The state of Abia State is very deplorable, very dilapidated, the roads, the gutters, very stinking. What? Alex Oti came on board. The people gave him that mandate, and he's doing well. In Anambra, Soludo is trying, because I do visit Anambra here and then. I'll be visiting again by next month. He's working. I don't know of Enugu. But I know that he should be, up and doing.
Because people, the reason I'm asking this question, people expect that, the state and so far what you have are doing better. I mean, in terms of pointing to infrastructure, in terms of pointing out to levels of governance, dispensation, and all of this, and that's the reason. But away from that concern, take a look at this issue of insecurity. I mean, we've seen many agitations to get Nnamdi Kanu, free from federal government. They've painted, or it looks as if they sit at home, and the persistent insecurity challenges in the Southeast happens to be from the angle of the fact that Nnamdi Kanu has been held hostage by the federal government from Muhammadu Buhari's administration, even when Tinubu says, I'm not the one that handled the case, I'm just inheriting the case. Does the freedom of Nnamdi Kanu assure Nigerians of peace? To your perspective, and the feedbacks you hear from your people, does it really give that assurances?
To my perspective, once Nnamdi Kanu, who is the leader, the supreme leader, in quotes, of the indigenous people of Biafra, is released, sorry, the insecurity in the Southeast will die down to a greater extent. There is no geopolitical region in Nigeria that is not facing insecurity now.
Absolutely.
But the Southeast used to be as peaceful as, apart from the pockets of, crime normal that you have in, state or every urban area. But since his incarceration, in fact, the argument is that he was kidnapped. That's rendition, and not an extradition. But I concede to that argument or that school of thought that legal solution will not resolve this. Because the matter is before my Lord, Honorable Justice Nyako. I don't want to go into that so that it's sub judice, But the legal team, I've appeared with them once or twice, at a point brought some applications to quash the whole charges. My Lord, in our wisdom, quashed 8 and left about 7. They went on appeal. Appeal court discharged and acquitted Nnamdi Kanu. The federal government went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court quashed some of the charges and asked Nnamdi Kanu to go back to the court of first instance, that's the Federal High Court, to stand for his trial. So all this back and forth, it may take ages, centuries. It may even exceed this administration. So we are for political solution. We support that move for a political solution. And the last week, the governors, the Southeast Governors Forum has made a move. They've made a move, went to the president, and they are demanding for the release, for the unconditional release. Look at Showeri. Immediately, this administration came on board. They entered the what we call nolli prosequi.
So Tinubu should give a presidential pardon?
Yes. The AGF, Lateef Fagbemi SN, should enter a nolli prosequi for Nnamdi Kanu, so that there will be peace. Last time, I think in Abia, about 5 soldiers were slain. Same thing in Anambra, same thing in Imo, everywhere. The southeastern part of the country which I come from used to be a very peaceful state. But now, look at what we are having. So release him, give him conditions, and release him. I believe if he's Nnamdi Kanu, in fact, he has stated it, that if he's released today, all this, because some unscrupulous elements, some criminal element has hijacked this agitation. And they are using it to make money. Kidnapping, banditry, all sort of things. So I believe if Nnamdi Kanu is released today, he knows these people. He knows his boys. When he was there in the UK, he was giving command and control, and they were, obeying him. Talk more of when he's released and he's on ground.
All right.
So I support that move.
It takes political will to get some of these things, like the bills already. It takes lobbying by members of the National Assembly. It takes conviction of the whole process of trying to lobby for a bill. When you look at politics, and the region seems marginalized. Some person may say it seems the participation and the divisions of some political leaders in your region has affected this. You've had people from APC, you've had people in APGA, we've had people in People's Democratic Party. This might not give the one voice to your region. I understand that there's a need to, pinch tents in other political parties. Don't you subscribe, or what do you feel about a proper political structure to galvanize the need for what really the interest of Southeast looks like? Because the division sometimes makes us feel that the people of Southeast are not ready.
Like we say, variety is the spice of life.
All right, let's go on a break. We'll be right back for the discussion.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight,
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With
Many thanks everyone for staying with us. Ifeanyi Okereke, of course, a legal practitioner and a member of the NBA to the National Assembly Affairs, is still with us to discuss the bill before the House of Representatives and, of course, the National Assembly, the bid to create a state for the people of Southeast. But we, of course, are getting to finalize on that discussion. But my last take was about political movement by the Southeast. Sometimes we see the divisions in the Southeast region by the leaders, All Progressive Congress, People's Democratic Party, and all of this. So sometimes many people may argue there's a need to have, a front movement about political ideology, what you stand for, so that you can galvanize support to get back your demand. It takes lobbying even in the House of Reps to get some of these bills to scout through.
Definitely.
What do you feel about leadership of the people of the Southeast and the way forward?
Variety is the spice of life. The Igbo people of the southeastern extraction are Republicans. We are no stooges. Everybody is at liberty, every state. Take, for example, we have 4 political parties in the
major political parties
that are, controlling the states. We have in Anambra APGA, which has held sway for a while, for more than 12 years now. We have Abia State. Labour Party is now on board. Then Ebonyi State, APC and Imo, APC. Then Enugu, PDP. So I don't believe that there is this saying that, yes, the Igbos, they are not united, they are not one. My argument, we agree to disagree. We mustn't be on one political front. The most important thing is to have a unity of purpose, one ideology. And as to this creation of state, we have unity of purpose. All the states, all the 5 eastern states are united as to creation of an additional state. And this is among party lines. We have 4. ABGA, Labour Party, APC, and PDP. But coming together now to make a presentation, to present a front, that's the most important thing. So I don't subscribe into the idea that the Igbos are not united as to what they want. For me, is baseless. It's baseless.
So we are having a front race for the
definitely
to get this done.
Definitely.
Well, we do expect that some of the politics will be done. I mean, because you understand that state creation is more political than, I mean, you've seen there are many clauses you have there for that to come to light. But the expectation is quite very high on both the representative and the people who are actually taking on this lead. We expect that many corporations will be given for these agitations to be addressed properly. But many thanks, Ifeanyi Okereke, member of the MBA Committee on National Assembly Affairs and the founder partner of Spectres RC Bones LP, the legal practitioner. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you
and
for
share your thoughts.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
I will go on a break, and once we return, we'll take a look at ECOWAS re-elections of President Bola Tinubu and what it means for the region and the impact it may create. Stay with us on the program.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on global televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okere tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point. This is business.
Are you ready to be entertained like never before? Get ready to dive into the latest and greatest entertainment news in lifestyle, music, movies, birthday celebration, and so much more, all on Entertainment Circle on Global Television. From the hottest red carpet event to exclusive interviews with your favorite stars, we've got you covered. Stay up to date with the latest trends and news from the entertainment world, all in one place. Tune in every Saturday by 1 p.m. with Chung Annabelle Joseph on Global Television.
For you stay with us on Big Talk. Now, take another this second discussion will be to the fact that many Nigerians have reacted on the re-election of President Bola Tinubu that the fact that yesterday they renewed the mandate, at this time, not for Nigeria, but renewal of mandates to lead the West African region and to head the state during the 65th meeting that took place here in the Federal Capital Territory. But there are a lot of concern on to what end does this really mean for Nigeria. Some Nigerians are arguing that we have other pressing issues in the country that the president must pay full attention to, away from having some other foreign engagement. But to others, it means that the president is being found worthy to lead the region in a time like this, where we understand that the issues of Niger, Mali is still in the front burner of the region in terms of negotiation to return back to the ECOWAS bloc. But a big shoe, is it too big for, is the shoe too big for President Bola Tinubu? Would he really deliver on that image of Nigeria's representative this time as the chairman of ECOWAS? And would he also have the full attention to address the many national issues we have in the country? Ezenwa, a public affairs analyst and a journalist, is live here on the program to discuss these implications of his re-election. Good evening and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for having time to join us. Yesterday was a gathering of leaders of ECOWAS, and we had 2 seats that were reserved for Mali and Niger, where the leaders were not found were found wanting. To you, the reconvention of ECOWAS and the re-election of President Bola Tinubu, what do you really make out of all of this?
Well, thank you very much. I would say that the re-election is just, the ECOWAS heads of state and governments, they are people just like himself. He's just one among equals. So they must have looked at themselves and they felt that this is the best we can have at this moment. And West Africa is one of the places that we have people that some of them stay in government for a very long time without even achieving so much for the ordinary citizens. And it's a big, it's a thing of concern that people who are supposed to be seriously engaged in democratic governance are found not to be doing the things that they are elected to do, and that's why some military interventions are taking place within the sub-region, and is a big minus for our democracy. That the people have entrusted with power, they are not able to deliver to the extent that they are giving room for some guys in uniform to come and say, let us teach you how to do governance. And it's not a good thing. But by and large, the election itself, the re-election of President Muhammad Buhari as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is, he said he wants to continue from where Buhari stopped. So sometimes you will not even know whether the Buhari administration has ended. So now you discover that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as the ECOWAS chairman, has been eventful. And sometimes he has been challenging too, because under his leadership, there have been issues within the Sahel region where the government, they try to actually restore democratic leadership in some of the states like Niger, Burkina Faso, Guinea, and all the rest of them. But he has not yielded any serious distance. So the challenges are there, and I think I want to take it that within this period that he has been in office, the last 1 year, he would have learned a lot, and probably he would approach some of these issues in a better way.
All right. Quoting on the words of the president, he said that Nigeria will lead by example, and so many concern about the economic situation of this country. What example would we show to the region when we understand that for 1 year of his administration, he has been back and forth trying several policies and attempts to rescue the economic reality we are? To boost the fact that Nigeria will lead by example, does it not try to bite his own words by the fact that some of these things are not replicated in the country. We're still finding inflation high today. Food prices are skyrocketing. Livelihood is still very much difficult. The issue of minimum wage is still in the front burner and not yet resolved. What do you make out of that statement, and what it needs to do better in that regard?
Yeah, I think saying that Nigeria will lead by example, well, I just pray that it's not about telling us like what they know that is what we want to hear. But if truly he decides and say, look, I will face governance to show an example of what governance should be in West Africa sub-region, that would be a good thing. It will be a thing to celebrate. In the next 1 year or thereabout, we will see how the country's economy will be transformed. We will see how the political landscape will be a bit freer, you know, because one of the major problems in Africa is elections. Elections in such is such a manner that free and fair election is part of what we are lacking in this part of the world. Africa is a place where some people want to do 4th term, 5th term, 10th term, you know, and then they will want to transfer power to their either their son or their wives or their sibling or whatever, whoever around them, or member, part of their associates. So it is a big issue in Africa that we are having a problem of leadership. But even in Nigeria, election that we had in the past have never been seen to be free and fair, except the 1993 election that was eventually annulled by the then military junta. And it's a big issue. So if he can give us a free and fair election, if he can, like in some of these off-cycle election, let's see free and fair election. Let's see our legislative houses operate freely. Let's see our courts, you know, deliver judgment in such a manner that people will know, yes, justice is done. You know, the truth is this: if the courts are doing what they are supposed to do, no matter whose ox is God, there's nothing, and nobody will complain. Even the loser will know that yes, this thing is justified, that justice has been done. So justice is, as they say, is not just to be done, but have to be seen to have been done. So if we are able to see good governance in Nigeria, see a society where there is freedom of speech, see a society where there is the rule of law is supreme, and rather than the rule of might, we see where political influence does not affect judicial pronouncements or judgments of the court, you discover that we would have seen an example that other West African countries would be able to emulate. So I think it's a good one, as he has said that Nigeria will lead by example. I want to believe him that Nigeria will truly lead by example.
I mean, part of the resolution was also mandating the Senegalese President Faye to lead a move to restore issues of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. That goes far back to, I mean, it probably may give credence to the fact that he is probably the most qualified, because when you look at his election, he showed the elections of Senegal showed proper representation of what the people really wanted. Yeah. So it seems ECOWAS were very thoughtful in sending that delegation. Mindful, he's just the youngest, one of the youngest. I mean, he's the youngest African president we have in the region. So sending Faye to go to discuss with the junta of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso may be a good political move, but also in every way giving credence to the fact that they've seen that he's the most qualified among probably all of them to lead such a delegation. This also raised brows and questions on the electoral, because he tried to touch that electoral dependency. We're still suffering with the fact that some persons are trying to stay in power more than what they thought to. Some people are trying to struggle more for power, going as far as, disjointing the electoral institution just to get back to power. I don't feel that is a concern for ECOWAS, for ECOWAS itself to know that, you know, democracy by practice, not by words. I mean, it's by what you're showing, by actions, so that other countries may be interested, may also be passionate about coming back to join Because if you cannot show example, if you cannot lead democracy by example, it therefore means that your agitations and what you stand for may not also be considered by other regions. To you, what do you make out of the delegation led by FAI to to negotiate back to the ECOWAS region?
Yeah, I believe that that was the best thing to do. Because if you watch in Africa today, once there's anything that has to do with election, most times they talk about sending somebody like Goodluck Ebele Jonathan to go for either supervision of an election in Africa or to do some of those things. Because why? These are people that represent what they want to go and implement in the other side. Because if I am a thief and you are sending me to go and go and tell another person that you should not steal, then it's a big problem, because that person will look at me and say, you that is telling me I should not steal, and me and you will belong to the same club of thieves. So it is a good strategy that, and then also they chose one of the youngest amongst them, because these guys are also young people. So the strategy was okay, but beyond strategies, we should start doing things in such a way that the countries will see beyond what we say. It is not about what we say. It's just like a political campaign during elections. Politicians, it's not as if they don't know what the people want, because they mouth it every time they come to campaign grounds. They tell you all the things they know that is what you want. But at the end of the day, they will not meet those needs of the people because of other influences and things like that. Not because they don't know. Like some of our leaders, they travel outside of the country. All the in fact, outside of the sub-region, our leaders and those who are heads of states, they move outside of our region. They go to America, they go to other parts of Europe. And at the end of the day, they see how things are done. They see the transparency, they see how honest some political office holders are. If you lose election, you go. Why should you want to kill and maim and destroy because you want to? Do you want to rule people by force? You don't lead people by force. It's the people that will say, come and lead us, because they know that you are somebody that they can trust and trust with power. So, but if you decide to now destroy those people whom you want to go and govern, because you want to govern them by force, it's a big problem. So let's see how the negotiation will go. But you know that recently, a few days ago, they signed a treaty based on their alliance, the Sahel states. So I don't know how it's going to be, because they are moving forward.
Expectations.
Yes, they are trying to see how they can meet the expectations of the people. Yes, military.
And it seems the people are happy about.
Yes, the people are. Despite the fact that nobody wants a military rule, but because of the consistent failure of African leaders, especially in the West Africa sub-region, you will have the poorest of the poor within the West Africa sub-region. Yet we have so much resources around us, both human capital and whatever. Minerals are there. Somebody has they have gold, but there's nothing. They have gold, they have diamond, they have oil,
right.
But at the end of the day, there's nothing to show for it.
All right, a lot of concern and the fact that there is a lot of expectations on the president in terms of delivery. So we are expecting the fact that Tinubu will actually, double up in terms of responsibilities and expectation to deliver first as the president of Nigeria, and now trying to see what he can do as the ECOWAS chairman in terms of fixing back the region where the days of its glory of ECOWAS. But that's the size we cannot take tonight on Big Talk. We deeply appreciate James Ezama, who is, of course, a public affairs analyst and a journalist for adding voice to the conventions. I'm looking forward to having you more on the program. And as well, we close the curtains on Big Talk tonight. Looking forward to see you again tomorrow as we take on another political discuss on the program. I'm Edika Michael. God bless Nigeria.
busy road, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.